Mr. Andrew, please, there is a message for you to rename your profile. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the second episode on our What You Need to Know series. My name is Aisiku Andrea, and I am your moderator for today. So today we'll be having a very special person speaking with us. But before I introduce him, I'd like to, explain what the series is all about. Now, the What You Need to Know webinar series is focused on helping people become better, especially globally, and putting themselves out there. Last episode, we had Mr. Martins Ikekolo talk to us about decision making. Generally, he explained what it means to go global, and he focused more on decision. The D in an acronym that he proposed, DNA. Today we're focusing on the N in the DNA. And talking with us today, or explaining all of that, is Mr. Andrew Igbineweka. Now, Mr. Andrew Igbineweka has a certificate in social entrepreneurship and a bachelor's degree in education. This academic foundation is complemented by a series of certifications, including leadership for influencers, pre-university training in mass communication and journalism, digital marketing, Scrum fundamentals, and communications and interpersonal skills at work. Andrew's collaborative spirit shines through his partnerships with numerous organizations, including the Goldmine Conference. Together, they have orchestras that have positively impacted over 20,000 young individuals across Nigeria and Africa. He is the leader of GoABitFurther Africa, a dynamic social community on a mission to bridge the gap between traditional classroom education and the ever-evolving demands of the modern workplace. A seasoned speaker, Andrew has graced platforms such as TEDx University of Benin, Big Game Conference, and Storytelling Festival Benin, influencing and empowering countless individuals. He is a member of esteemed Forbes DLK community. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming this sensational person, Mr. Andrew Igbineweka, as he will be talking to us on networking beyond the rhetoric. Welcome, Mr. Andrew.
Welcome. Thank you. Please kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm excited and delighted to be here. Mr. Martins, I know you're watching me from wherever you are. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to share knowledge here on this platform, and for giving me the opportunity to talk to my fellow volunteers here at YouLead International. I want to particularly say thank you to Favor and PG for making this possible. Favor has been back and forth with me, and we're supposed to have this conversation earlier, but I had to show up for someone, and so we had to move the time. I want to say thank you for the understanding, and this is going to be worth the while. Before I go into the conversation, I wanted to just show off my t-shirt. I don't know if you caught that. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about networking beyond the rhetorics. And it's interesting because when I talk about networking, depending on who is asking me to talk about networking, there's always a different conversation. Now, when I talk to church people, people that go to church, people that believe in God, believe in Jesus. When I talk to those kind of people, because there's a conversation, there's actually a conversation that underlines the concept of networking. And so most people in church, when they hear stuff about building your network, getting to know people, showing up for people and all of that, most people they always think that what you're basically trying to say is that you have to be a people pleaser. You have to, because the Bible, at some point in the Bible, if you've read your Bible, you see that there are places where God admonishes us to put our focus on Him, right? And that's interesting because when people bring up that in a conversation, I'm always excited. I'm always excited because I have, at least to a large extent, because of this conversation, taking the time to read the Bible. And I have seen how that God specifically made emphasis indirectly to the importance of people in our life. And even from the conversation of the creation, you see where he says, let us come together, right? Let's make man in our image and after our likeness, right? And you notice that in that conversation, you see that he's not the only one present in that conversation. He's talking to a group of people, a group of personalities. This conversation is not a conversation of which people he was talking, or the people he was talking about. Well, it's a conversation about the understanding that there is something in other persons that contributes to the much impact that you as an individual wants to create. And so when we had our leadership conference 2 years ago, there was a statement I made which will form the basis for this conversation today, and it's this. Now, YouLead is big on helping people live out their purpose, right? Providing them with the knowledge, the skills to do that, to live a fulfilled life, not just a life that you just end up paying bills and paying bills and paying bills until you pass on, but living a fulfilled life. And so that is the reason why I have taken it to begin the conversation with this quote. And this is the quote. The quote is that when God created you, He created a vacuum in your purpose. And that vacuum is designed in such a way that it is not you that will fill that vacuum. It is another person that will fill that vacuum. And so you see that, for instance, we're having this conversation here today. Mr. Martins is not the one who reached out to me. Mr. Martins is not the one who sent me the flyers. Mr. Martins is not the one moderating this session, right? But the purpose of YouLead, God put it in one man. He put it in Mr. Martins. And then because he was able to articulate with clarity his purpose, he is able to attract the people that will fill up that vacuum. And that's why this conversation is beyond the rhetorics. Now, let's get to understand what the rhetorics really is about networking. So a lot of the time when I hear people talk about networking, I hear people talk about networking about collecting cards, complimentary cards, exchanging phone numbers, following people on social media, and all of that. Yes, that is part of the whole process. But there is a foundation upon which every other thing is built. And it is first acknowledging that you are not sufficient of yourself. Yes. God made man in his image and his likeness. And then he assigned a responsibility or a purpose to this man. And then as this man journeys, he's going to interact with people who are going to buy into his purpose. Now, those people buying into his purpose, you know, there's this talk about human beings being selfish, right? So your definition, sometimes you need to question it. When you say selfish, it doesn't necessarily always means evil, right? It doesn't always necessarily mean evil when you say someone is selfish. If you are going to approach everyone you meet questioning their selfishness, you are not going to make progress. And so it's important that you find the common interest, the shared interest, and then you are able to leverage that shared interest. Because that shared interest is how someone like PG will buy into the idea of Mr. Martins, and she will bring all that she is, or all that she knows to do. She will bring all of that into this vision. But she's not doing that just because she likes Mr. Martins, right? We are not signing up to be a part of an organization because we love the organization. Of course, we love the organization because there is something about that organization that allows us the opportunity to express our purpose. For instance, there is something about YouLead that creates room for me to be here right now, having this conversation with you. And that is the mindset that you should have. And it's a mindset of honor. And I'll tell you why it's a mindset of honor. It is that Mr. Martins, having received the vision for YouLead, sat down and realized that he cannot do this on his own. Yes, he has God's enablement, he has all of that, but God has locked up the resources for this purpose. He has locked it up in men as purposes in this men. So Andrea loves to moderate conversations like this. That is a purpose in her. Andrea has not arrived at her destination. She's going to keep learning and evolving to become who God has made her to be. But she's going to find herself in context or create a context that allows her to use those skill sets, those things that she knows to do. She's going to find those contexts or create one for herself that will allow her to use those tools or those skill sets to refine it to a level where she can now serve kings. Are you following me? Are you following me? If you can hear me, please, I like feedback. Okay, great. So it is very important that you understand this. So when I talk about networking, I'm saying that you sat down, you discovered your purpose. And then in discovering that purpose, you realize that you cannot do it on your own. You realize that there are a set of skills, experience, knowledge that must come together in a collaborative effort to execute that purpose. And then it is upon that premise that you begin to connect with people. You don't start to connect with people not knowing what you are to accomplish with your life. And now, there are no ultimates to this conversation. I just want to put that disclaimer. There are no ultimate, and I'll tell you why there are no ultimate. So you'll find that there are people who need to meet certain kinds of people to discover their purpose. There are certain kinds of people who need to lock themselves up to discover their purpose, right? But at the end of the day, when you have discovered your purpose, you are going to begin to connect with the people in which God has locked the ideas, the skills, the knowledge, and everything that you need to transform your own context. Now, having said that, there are certain things you must know, and I've called them the 10 commandments of networking. Of course, when you begin to unpack the 10 commandments of networking, you soon realize that under one of the commandments, you find that you need to be visible, not visible by clouds or visible by how do I say it? But visible by value, right? Visible by value. And that value is a function of yourself. You have discovered the part of you that is God. That is God. When I say the part of you that is God, I'm talking about your purpose. Now, let me explain how God is fulfilling his own purpose through you. So God says, we are not privileged to know what God was thinking when he said, let's make man in our image. But if you read the scriptures, you'll find that there's a point in the conversation where he says that they will serve me, right? Now, how are we serving God? We are serving God simply by God decides to make man. He makes man and takes purpose out of himself and locked it up in a man, right? And so he puts it in a man in such a way that that man cannot continue that journey or cannot conclude that journey without, at every point in time, making reference from where he's coming from, such that he would have to go back again. In literature, English and literature, there's a fable that was shared then. I can't remember the fable, but the whole idea is that when the creator was making man, he put a vacuum in man, such that he said the first man, it's just a fable, so the first man he made the man complete, and he released the man into the earth, and the man went and did rubbish, right? And after doing rubbish, they now said that God came to himself and said, okay, why is it that this man that I created did not at any point come back to me as his creator? And so God now made another man. That's what they said in that fable. But the sense I'm trying to bring out of that is that God has made you in such a way that there is something inside of you that only him can feel. And also, there is something about you that requires the help of others. And so that is how you network. Now, let's move further with this conversation. Now, there are some conversations that I've wrapped up in what I call the 10 Commandments of Networking. And then I authored a book, especially that book is particular if you are a university student or a young person, right? And you are trying to navigate your career, navigate life on campus, because time will not permit me, I will give you conversations about how that people are messing up their life on campus simply by having cliques. So you just have a group of people that they are your friends. You don't talk to anybody outside of those people. And then one day you graduate from school and you walk into an office to submit your resume, and you find that the person who is going to interview you is someone that was your classmate that you did not have their time. And so because there's no relationship, you cannot command the favor. Do you understand? Because there is no relationship, you cannot command the favor. And I'm going to tell you a story quickly. Now, very practical story. I was going to get married in 2022, last year. And then God has been faithful to me, really. from coming to Benin to graduating from the university and everything. The story is just long. Maybe another day I'll find time to share that, and maybe you would be privileged to be in that conversation. But then I was going to get married in 2021. Was it 2021? No, 2022. So 2021 ending, I was like, Lord, 2022 is the year I'm going to get married. Lady I'm currently married to, we dated for almost 6-7 years before we got married. So I was like, Lord, the hour has come. And then after saying that, I was telling myself, because at that time, I just finished from the university. I was earning close to 200K. In my mind, I would save 100K every month, and that would amount to 1.2 million. And then I will now begin the process of getting married. That was my strategy. I was, and then when I was done with that, in that year 2022, when I was done with the plan of getting married and everything, towards the ending of 2022, I did not have that money. And then so I traveled to Abuja. I did an event, the social networking immersion program. My friends, they came, I came to Benin back. I did another one in Benin. Amazing people came around. We shared conversations. And then I met a young man, and then we became friends. Then he brought another person to one of the networking one of the networking events that I held in Benin. And then I also became friends with that one. And so we're just like friends like that. And then 2022, December, I was like, Lord, what is happening? I said I wanted to get married. And now I check my account. I've not even saved half of the money. Half of that 1.2, I had not saved it. And so I'm telling you the importance of relationship. And you will see the spiritual implication and the physical implication also. So I told God that, what's happening? I want to get married. I want to get married. And then God, I just had the impression to fast for like 3 days. I know some of you came, okay, I think everybody here is, okay, good. So in case you're watching this video as a replay, the conversation is about networking. It's about honoring people and what's in them, and then understanding that you cannot do it on your own. You need people. And so God impressed it in my heart to wait for 3 days, dry fasting, no food. I had done it before. It was not beans. And then I said to myself that, okay, I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. It was December, I did not do it. January, the beginning of January, before the 21 days prayer and fasting, I just had an impression in my heart to see someone. And that person was a young man who had gotten married against all odds. He did not have the money, he did not have the relationship, he did not have the anything. Okay, he had the relationship, but he did not have money, he did not have a house. He did not, those things that people say you need to have before you get married. He did not have any of that. And then he got married, had a successful wedding. People came, people ate. And God just impressed it in my heart to ask that young man, how? And that night was Saturday night. I just went to church for pastor's prayers. And then the next morning was Sunday. The following day, which was Monday, the prayer and fasting was going to start. 21 days prayer and fasting was going to start. And so when we closed pastor's prayer that night, there was no reason for that person to be in church at that time. It was 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Out of the blues, the person just walked into the church. I was like, I just knew that God wanted me to really talk to this person before we started the 21 days prayer fasting. And then I met this young man talking about relationship. And then he shared with me how that when he told his people that wanted to get married, nobody even listened to him. And then God told him to do 3 days dry fasting. When he said 3 days dry fasting, I just knew that God wanted me to hear this from this person. Guess what? It had been impressed in my heart to do 3 days dry. I did not do. I heard it from someone. It confirmed what I had heard, and I went to do it. That is one. I'm giving you the spiritual implication. Now, another conversation was when I started that prayer and fasting, God told me something. He said, I know this is not marriage session, but I just wanted you to see, when we talk about that we need people, I wanted to give you my own testimony so you see. I'm going to tell you a couple of testimonies before we go into the commandments. Now, another testimony attached to this one I just shared is the fact that God told me that it is not money that they use to get married, that it is favor. So I wanted to understand, yes, visible by value. So I wanted to understand what God meant. And so what he did was that the job that I wanted to use to get married, I was saying I would save 100K. I lost all the jobs. So as if the first one, they concluded on the contract. The second one, the third one, that was how the jobs went. And I was back to square one. I was back to square one. And then I thought about the whole thing. And then one day out of the blues, after the 3 days dry, a young man I met at one of the networking events reached out to me and said, there's a job. Now, I did not apply for that job. Guess what? Somebody had the opportunity and then thought about me. But before he reached out to me, he contacted another person. Yes, favor. 12 minutes, yes, I get. He contacted another person, and that person also said, yes, that Andrew is fit for the job. And that's how I got the job. And I'm going to go through the 10 commandments now. Another job I got was this year. My contract with the previous employer was already expiring, and I was thinking, okay, where am I going to get a job? Where am I going to get a job? And then a young lady who I met on campus, I met her briefly. It's not like we're friends. I just met her briefly, but the warmth and the value that I communicated, when that opportunity came, she was sending it to me. When she sent it to me the first time, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Martins. When she sent it to me the first time, I was telling my wife, I was like, this opportunity, I beg, I'm not interested. My wife was telling me, who do you say you're not interested? Apply for this thing. I was like, I'm not interested. Guess what? That same lady, that same lady recommended me to consult with a major organization in Benin, in Edo State, as a community manager. So I was called in. I had the conversation with the director general. She was asking me that she wants to build a platform. She wants to understand how she can, bring young people, because a lot of the time people reach out to her to recommend young people, but she doesn't have a pool of people where she can always recommend. So she wants to create like a community where she can train them and then recommend them for jobs. And so when I came, I shared ideas with her, and then she was like, awesome. When we were done with the conversation, she just looked at me and said, what's your 5-year plan? And luckily for me, right before that conversation, I just edited my CV, did some research, as my contract was closing up on the other employer, I was already, re-strategizing to see how I'm going to pivot. And then she just asked me, what's your 5-year plan? And then I was ready for this conversation. And then after talking, she just told me to send my CV. I sent my CV and she sent it to a one-time Chief Justice and Attorney General. That one did not even look at my CV. She just had a conversation with me. I communicated value. She went on my LinkedIn. she was interviewing me and asking me questions from my LinkedIn. Now, she was asking me questions on my LinkedIn. She saw everything I was doing. And she's like, oh, great. Oh, you did this. Oh, you spoke at TEDx. Yes. You did it. So, okay, no problem. I'll reach out to you next week so we can bring you on board. And all that. That was how, it was when I started working, 1 week into working with her, that she now saw my CV. I said, oh, you know how to use Canva? I said, yes. Right? Now, I've shared all these stories with you. I'm going to now share the 10 commandments of networking so that you see how that these stories, right, help you to understand how to network and the mindsets you need to unlearn about networking. So networking, first and foremost, is more than collecting complimentary cards. It is more than attending events. It is more than reaching out to people via DM. It is more than liking people's posts. It is more than showing up at events, even when they did not invite you. It is more than all of that. Networking is first discovering yourself, understanding that other people have something that you need to make progress in your life, and then honoring the things that these people have by contributing your own value to what they are doing, and then sharing your own vision with these people in such a way that you just gravitate towards each other. And then when that happens, it is easy to see people who would commit. I have people who, they send me opportunities. There's someone I worked with. There's a lady I worked with. She worked with a major media organization in Lagos. She moved down to Benin, and then she's currently working with the state government. When I worked with her as a social media manager, I worked with her for like 3 months, and then we went off. But I kept, reaching out to her, asked her about her children, because she shared all of this information with me. And the more I asked about all of those things, when she was going to bring me back on board, there was something she said to me. She said, the reason why I am bringing you back on board is because you always follow up. You always follow up. And now we're going to quickly look at the 10 commandments of networking quickly. Now, if you are not building relationships, there are certain things you are always going to miss out on. One, you are going to miss out on opportunities. You are going to miss out on premium information. You are going to miss out on support system. You are not going to have people who can vouch for you, right? I just recently watched a video where the woman was emphasizing having a sponsor over having just a mentor. Both are amazing, but you don't just need a mentor. You need someone who can open doors for you. And usually those people, you don't find them, they find you. And the way they find you is because you have communicated value, you have contributed value. And so they want to go out of their way to ensure that they give back that value. Because when you give value to people, people feel obligated to return the favor. To try it any day, anytime, right? Try it any day, anytime. The first time, we just recently got an accountant with our team where I work. And then the first day we were going home together, I paid her transport, right? I paid her transport. After paying her transport that day, recently we were going home together, and I brought her my money I wanted to pay. And she said, no, don't worry. People always feel obligated to reciprocate a favor. Now, this doesn't mean that you should always do it because you want people to do it back to you. No, you are doing it because that's who you are. And because that's who you are, that is the quality of people you are going to attract. You get it? Okay. So we'll just jump right into the 10 commandments of networking. Number 1, leverage social media. I cannot say it again. Now, I'm going to be speaking in Abuja the first week of September, and I'm going to be talking about the future of work. It's a national conference, and I'm excited for the opportunity to be there, to be a part of the panelists. The person who invited me is a top person in the leadership space, and then he gave me the opportunity, he's giving 6 of us the opportunity. A sponsor, that's one of the things that a sponsor does for you. It gives you opportunities like that. Now, there's a conversation about the future of work, and that's what we're going to be speaking on. A lot of the time, people are on social media, but they are not using social media. Social media is using them. And that's another conversation. But the reason why I'm saying leverage social media is because very soon, you will not be able to interact with employers the way you interact with them now that you have to go to a physical location to work. Of course, there are people who already currently work remotely. There are people who currently, work. Some still do hybrid, right? They go some days, they are offline, they are off-site some days, something like that. So you need to understand that whatever it is you are saying on social media, I've had situations where I introduce myself to someone, and instead of them to listen to what I'm saying, they take up their phone and they are checking me out on Google, right? So it's going to get serious that you will be pitching yourself to someone like this, providing facts to people. They will not believe you. They will believe what they see on social media. That's how bad it's going to get, or how good it's going to get if you are leveraging social media. The next thing is attend events and conferences. It's very important that you attend events and conferences, right? It's important that you join communities. Very important. Now, the 10 commandments of networking. I'm going to just share 5, so we can just go into the questions and then we call it a good night. Now, the first commandment is do not appear as a problem. The first commandment is do not appear as a problem needing a solution. You are a solution. And this refers to people who always send DMs. Now, let me explain how you get attention on social media, especially when you are sending DMs. When you send somebody a DM, right? When you send somebody a DM, this is what they do. You do it, right? You do it. That's why I started with saying, make sure what you are putting on your social media is very key. It explains what you are passionate about. It shows track record. When you say you're passionate about something, let us go somewhere and see that, okay, oh, this person is actually true. What they are saying is actually true about who they are, right? So when you send somebody a DM, what they first do is they look at your message, they click your picture to go to your profile, they scroll, and check out all the posts that you have made about yourself. They look at your profile, they look at the link in your bio, they click it, they go and see everything that you have done. They go on Google, they Google you to see what they will find, and then they come back to respond to your message. There are people currently, okay, so for the work we do at GoABitFurther, I always have to reach out to people to come on board, to come and train university students, right? And so most of the time, I reach out to them on my own personal page because I know that they are going to check me out. And so because there's a track record, and you're going to see why track record is important shortly, right? So do not appear as a problem needing a solution. So when you are reaching out to these people, you're not reaching out to them like someone who needs help. You're reaching out to them as someone who has a solution to a problem they have. Now, how do you identify a problem they have? You need to have done your own due diligence to check them out, follow them for a while, look at the things they are doing. There are persons who I have reached out to, And when I reach out to them, what I tell them is, I know that, yes, there's something I want from them, maybe in the next 5 months. I reach out to them today and I tell them that, okay, I do graphics. If you need a good graphics for your event, just let me know. I'll fix you up, right? The next day, like, oh, awesome. They reach out to me. And you know, the amazing thing is, as a university student, you have leverage. See, the relationship you don't build as a university student, right? The impact, the value you don't build as a university student, when you graduate, it will be difficult. Why? Because as a university student, you are nobody. When you are reaching out to, okay, when Mr. Martins was in the university, I can just walk up to Mr. Martins and we are talking, right? So there's an existing relationship. Now I can reach out to Mr. Martins based on that relationship and say, sir, I need your help. But imagine if I did not build that relationship on campus. It's going to be difficult for me to reach out to him now. Now, some of the university students usually have cliques. They don't reach out to people. My own class, there's nobody in my class that I did not have a conversation with. Yes, we did not have an active relationship, but I had a conversation with a majority of them. To the point where, you know, in university, there are some that used to form, but when they graduated, they now saw sense in the things I used to say. And they started reaching out to me because I took the effort to create the relationship on campus. Now they are leveraging that relationship because I created it. So it's not just about you, right? It's about the other person. Number 2, do not sell yourself short. You are a product. Sell yourself. That's the second commandment. You are a product. Sell yourself. You are a product. Sell yourself. When I say sell yourself, you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that now you have the social media. You say you are passionate about something. Ensure that everything we find on your social media is a true representation of the value that you bring. Don't come and tell me you are passionate about the girl child and then you need me to collaborate with you on a project. And I go on your social media and what I see on social media is you in bikini or you in shorts. You snap your thing and say, chilling. And I check all your pictures. They are almost the same thing. There's nothing serious that shows me that, okay, truly, this person is passionate about the girl child. Number 3, use your digital platform to tell your story. Why? Because your digital footprint is who you are. Further emphasizing you to sell yourself, sell your values. Listen, your digital footprint is who you are. It's not, it doesn't matter. I've had conversations with students and I tell them that, what is this that you are posting on your status? And they're like, it doesn't matter. It's just, I say, people are looking at this thing and they are forming and they are making up their mind about the kind of person that you are. They're not even asking you to know, okay, what is it that this person really represents? Oh, this person has shared this picture. No, I don't think this person, this is what represents this person. I think there's something else. No, once you put something on your status, people, based on what you have put on your status, they just assume, okay, this person don't have sense. Or this person is not a quality person. Right? So you need to understand that. Another thing you need to also note is that birds of a feather, listen and listen good, birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. But guess what? You are not a bird. Birds of a feather flock together. You are not a bird. And so the commandment here is that you need to diversify your network. As a business person, you should have a lawyer friend. You should have a business analyst friend. You should have a graphic designer friend. You should know somebody. Don't just you're someone who is into hair making and then all your friends are hairstylists. The last, that's the fifth commandment for tonight, is be kind to people and be open to asking for help. And do you know why? It is because you are a God. You are a God. And it is because you are a God, that is why you need help. You know, especially Christians, they'll say, I don't need man. All I need is God. I understand that scripture, but that scripture was given in a context. You don't take that scripture out of the context and use it anyhow. No, that scripture is saying, do not trust in men. What it's even telling you is that men are fragile. It's even selfish to trust that a man would think of you first before himself. It's selfish on your part. So acknowledge the weakness of people, honor their strengths, but understand that the best of men is still a man. And it's upon that premise that you should trust in God. But when it comes to executing and doing great things, you must connect with people. You must connect with their strength. You must honor their strength. You must identify that this thing that this person knows to do is important. Not like you run them down. So be kind to people, even when they have not realized their potential. Be kind to them, because shortly they will realize their potential. And guess what? They will be the most important person in your life. So when you look down on people, be careful who you are looking down on. Because like in a snap of your fingers, that person that was a nobody will just become by chance, because time and chance happen to them all. Time to prepare, to grow, and then the chance to manifest. And if a chance happens to a man and he becomes great and you are his enemy, Baba. And that's all for today. Thank you very much. So I'd like to take questions. If you have questions, I hope you got value. I'm sure you got value. I'm certain you got value.
Thank you.
I'm very certain you got value.
Very much, Mr. Andrew. Thank you very much. I am sure that we got value, because even my notes are full. Thank you very much.
And just to add to.
So we'll be taking questions now.
Just to add to all that I've said, when you need an opportunity, yes, be bold to ask for it. Don't assume that they will not give you the opportunity. Ask for it. I think that's one thing that people miss out in networking. Networking is not just to have people's numbers. Networking is not just to say, okay, yes, I know this person. Networking is for leverage. So, but okay, there are other commandments that I would have shared. Because of lack of time, I'll just share just this one. Do not come to the table empty. Come to the table half full. Right? So when you're asking for help, people can look at the much that you have done, and then because you've done this much, good.
Can we still hear him?
Yes, I'm done.
All right.
Question,
Thank
please.
you very much. This was a lot. This was a whole lot. I'm very grateful you had time to come and speak with us on this today. Now, I'll ask you again. Does anybody have any questions? I think I have a couple of questions in my DMs that I'll be sharing soon. So, Mr. Andrew, the first question is, how can we get your book? Because if you can give us this in 30 minutes, I can only imagine what's in the book. Yes, how can we get your book?
Okay, so you can get my book by reaching out to me. You can get my book by reaching out to me. You can get my book.
Okay, how do we reach out to you?
So GoABitFurther Africa just clocked 5 on the 20th of this month. And because of that, I'm giving out my book for 1,000 naira.
Okay.
Book,
All right.
the book and the course. So the book, the 10 Commandments of Networking, and then the course on the 10 Commandments on Networking. So they go together. So you want to get it, you reach out to me I'm on social media. Follow me on social media, follow me on Facebook, connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Instagram, and let's connect. I'll share should I share my contact here? But I know majority of everybody here, okay. For those that are going to watch the replay of this, you can reach out to me. My phone number, basically just search for me, Andrew Igbineweka, on all platforms. You can get me on LinkedIn, everywhere.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you very much for that. Now, the second question is, what advice do you have for people who are shy and they find it hard to connect with people? What's your advice for those kind of people?
So, especially those people that say they are introverted.
Introverts.
Okay, so let me just tell you this, guys. Now, there are set of skills they have called the language arts, right? Language arts. And if you want to diffuse that a bit, you call the communications art. What it means basically is these are skills that you need to be able to communicate or to be able to use language. And some of those skills involves public speaking, reading, writing, and listening, right? Listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So those 4 skills. Now, anyone that want to employ any of these things and want to do it efficiently, you will not learn how to do so simply by taking a master class. Now, I'm talking to the shy people, the people who say they are shy and people who say they are introverted.
Yeah.
You will not be able to use these 4 things if you do not create a system that allows you to do it repeatedly. So when you say you are shy, it is understandable you are shy. When you say you are introverted, it's understandable you are introverted. But you don't say you are shy and you do not eat for one day, or you do not go out to buy food when you are hungry. You don't say you are shy and then you don't go to the bathroom, or you don't use the toilet. Do you understand? Now, all of those things that you do without making reference to your being shy or your being introverted, you do them effortlessly because you have created a habit around them. And it's the same way with the language arts, listening, writing, speaking, reading. It's the same thing. The more you exercise that muscle, the better you get at it. And so if you are introverted, what you are simply telling me is that you have not done it enough to master it. Guys, let me even tell you my story. As a young boy, guys, I was timid. See, the way I used to explain my timidity is such that I could not talk to my fellow guys. You know, then when we were young, they would say, this guy is too shy, cannot even talk to a girl. There are people, they say, those people are learning in my side. Me, I could not even have a conversation with my fellow guys. My guys will gather and they'll be having conversations, and I have amazing things to contribute to the conversation, but I'll keep quiet. I'm aware how much more me walking up to a girl. As a matter of fact, when I was in secondary school, there was a particular year that everybody was approaching ladies to ask to come and be my vow. I don't know if you did that in secondary school. Come and be my vow, come and be my vow. My own case, it was a lady that walked up to me and said I should be a vow. That was how shy I was. But what changed the conversation for me? I joined media and creativity unit in my church. And the first day I joined, they gave me an announcement to take. That's how I was shaking. Announcement, I was shaking. But that was my salvation. Because after that, The next time they gave me, I did well. That's how I kept improving. Now I can stand in front of 1,000 people to talk, but I wasn't always like that. Now I can be anywhere. I just see a stranger. I just want to have a conversation with them. I just want to learn what is it about this person. I'm just interested. And so conversations ensue, and I'm having conversation with someone, and that's sometimes just from that conversation, an opportunity comes out because I have decided that it's a lie that there's somebody living on this planet Earth that doesn't have value. It's a lie. It is my responsibility to recognize that value in that person and to invest in that value long enough for that person to realize that that person has value. Now, when that person realizes this, I'm going to get rewarded in some way or somehow. So if you are shy, you are timid, it's an excuse you are giving yourself. Plain blank. That's an excuse. Because there are people who are shy, people who think they are timid, who are doing amazing things. They are connecting with people. Have you seen Salem King? Have you met Salem King before? Salem King is an introverted, but guess what? When he's with his community, you will see him connect with people. That is the idea. Yes, stop giving yourself an excuse. Go and try it and do it long enough to master it. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate this. And congratulations on your on the 5th anniversary for GoABitFurther Africa. Congratulations doing that. Now, YouLead Port Harcourt has a very special announcement.
Oh, great.
We're offering 50% discounts to the first 5 people to indicate interest to get Mr. Andrew's book. So he has announced that for now there's a promo running, and you can get the book for 1,000. YouLead Port Harcourt is coming in to say if you indicate interest and you're among the first 5 to do that, you only have to pay 500 naira. Amazing, isn't it? In that vein, it's in that vein, it's amazing to announce that this program, this series, the What You Need to Know series, is brought to you by the YouLead Port Harcourt community.
Hey, look at PG.
And we're delighted. We are delighted to have you here joining us, whether you're streaming on YouTube, whether you're with us right now live in this session. We're grateful to have you here. And this is not the end. We have value packed for you coming up in November. In November, we're going to have 3 more episodes, and we'll be having amazing speakers as well. Emmanuel Jago, who is a growth manager currently in Dubai. We have Bright Dakar, who is a principal consultant, Bremer's Consulting Limited. We have Charles Boitier, who is a senior investment analyst. These people are going to come and talk to us about a whole lot of things in November. And the very first one, the one who is going to be opening the floor in November, is Emmanuel Jago. And he will be talking about innovation and advancements, a perspective from a business developer. This is all going to be happening, or this particular episode is going to be happening on the 12th of November. And Miss Iwinosa Ederisagmo is going to be moderating. Trust me, guys, it's going to be amazing. If you did not watch the last episode, you can always watch that on YouTube. The videos are on there. Even this one is going to be uploaded there. You can always watch and get the value that you need. Finally, okay, there is a link in the chat box right now, so you can register and you don't have to miss out. You're kept updated on our upcoming episodes, and no missing out, no darling. And then finally, our outreach, which is coming up on the 25th of November. This is also being hosted or being anchored by the YouLead Port Harcourt community. So it's going to be happening in Port Harcourt. the child will be visiting the child's special school. It's a school for special needs children. And we're going there to give them, just to have fun. We're going there to meet with them, talk, chat, eat, play games, and all of that. So, yes, we need your donations, please. We appeal, a humble appeal to please donate to the cause. These are the account details currently being displayed on the screen. With that, we've come to the end of this episode of this series, this amazing series, the What You Need to Know webinar series. This is a conversation to inform, instruct, and inspire. And we hope that today you are informed on networking, you've been well instructed by Mr. Andrew Igbineweka, and you're inspired to take that bold step in broadening your circle and doing the best you can to network yourself. With that, we say thank you and good night.